Hello, I'm Jovan Johnson with the IMF Tracker. This week, government tax waivers to charities end on Saturday. Parliament passes omnibus legislation despite protest from Audley Shaw, and Finance Minister cautions against celebrations at signs of economic growth. These stories in a moment, but first, our question of the week. What is referred to as the Asian century? Stay tuned, the answer comes up at the end of the program. The government is to cease the granting of waivers to charities other than those under the Charities Act on Saturday. The move is part of the structural benchmarks agreed with the International Monetary Fund, IMF. After November 30, organizations that have not been registered under the new regime, the Charities Act, will not be eligible for exemptions. In its first letter of intent to the IMF in April, the Jamaican government announced that the granting of discretionary tax waivers would be greatly curtailed. The government said it would not approve any new waivers or renew any waiver category or other tax incentives. There is also a commitment not to amend existing legislation to generate further tax expenditures until an omnibus tax incentive law comes into effect by the end of this year. The government has agreed to provide the IMF with data on tax waivers for charities and charitable giving on a monthly basis. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives passed the omnibus tax incentives legislation at its sitting last week Tuesday. The bill was passed despite a call for the bill to be sent to a committee of the House. 4 pieces of legislation were debated which make up the omnibus regime. However, former opposition spokesperson on finance, Audley Shaw, said it was improper for the bills to be brought to Parliament and passed with such haste. He argued that the bills, which were laid less than a month ago, are complex and that their provisions have far-reaching implications. But Finance Minister Dr. Peter Phillips said the provisions contained in the bills were fully ventilated by stakeholders. And the Finance Minister, Dr. Peter Phillips, has warned against any premature celebrations of recent improvements in the country's economic development. He told a PNP meeting at the weekend that growth has returned to the economy, but much more will have to be done to sustain it. He listed the need to address the leakage of revenues from tax incentives and waivers. Dr. Phillips said while it was okay to be optimistic, Jamaicans should not believe that the hard work and sacrifice required to strengthen the country's economic position were at an end. And to end our program this week, the answer to this week's question. The Asian century refers to the dominant role that could be played by Asia in the 21st century because of its growing economic clout and global demographic trends. And that's where we end our trek this week on the IMF Tracker. I'm Jovan Johnson.